Alright guys, so it's Friday, September the 12th, 2025, and I want to pick up this camera and just start rolling what I'm currently thinking, because I feel like I've almost had like a realization and I want to document it in real time and kind of convey my thoughts in the moment, because sometimes you have like a burst or like a realization and then time passes and then you no longer can deliver with the same conviction or certainty, etc. And it's really just about, I've been noticing this and I've just watched something that is kind of like connected a couple dots, and I want to share and also like have this as documentation for going forward and wanting to progress in my bodybuilding journey, my entrepreneurship journey, my online fitness coaching journey, you know what I'm saying, just becoming a better person, and really just wanting to document who I actually am more, basically, you know what I'm saying. Like, for me, social media, I started posting when I was, I think, 17 in lockdown, and so I'm 22 now. It's been 5 years and it's been a complete journey, you know. At the beginning I was debating for the longest time whether I even, you know, start posting fitness content on my original account, which, you know, had maybe like 2,000 followers or something, like, and I was like, oh man, like, what's everyone gonna think? You know, no one in the UK did it. I didn't know anyone that personally that, you know, posted content, so that was like a big one, even though like I'd seen like older guys, you know what I'm saying, or like people that obviously established already, like on YouTube, etc., making stuff, and I really resonated with it. So that was like a big hurdle, you know what I'm saying, like posting my first piece of content, you know, and I made my own fitness page, you know, gym fitness page only, and that's been 5 years, and obviously like I knew in my gut that it wasn't just a phase, like this was just part of who I was and part of my development, and I've since then like competed a bodybuilding show, like got so much more serious in all aspects, helped other guys, you know what I'm saying, progress their physiques, and it's all been like a process. And it's crazy that's taken me 5 years to almost like actually right now like connect some dots on the kind of content I want to post and the reason why. Because ultimately people talk about like wanting to have like an impact, you know, have value, and like one thing that isn't the case is posting on Instagram and getting a certain amount of views or likes, etc., is usually not a correlation at all to like how much value and how much help you're doing. You know, I have my own story, I have my own authentic journey, and so how would it make sense, you know, if the content which I think I'm putting effort into to post is not affecting people? Because I could just switch any random other person with a decent physique, and if my content is the same, you know, if I'm saying like something about macros, or I'm saying something about, you know, just a physique update, you know what I mean, like yes, it's my journey, but at the same time, if I'm not showing like in certain content like this, longer form content, on how I actually think about certain things, like why I think the way I do about certain things, you know, like the difference between posting like a picture of what I'm eating versus why am I eating it, you know, why am I eating this meal pre-workout specifically with, you know, fats from almond butter to slow my digestion down, to make sure the carbs give me slow release of energy, and cream of rice, which is fast digesting and only this much protein because I need this much protein in each meals, as opposed to, you know, none or like too much, you know, to help my digestion, all this kind of stuff, like the reasoning why. And it's a journey, because as I just said, like at the beginning I was scared of maybe what other people thought, or no one else around me was doing something. But for now, like for example, like wanting to make an impact, wanting to share my knowledge and like actually help people in a similar position, or people that actually, you know, want to level up and can resonate with my story in some certain way, actually like feel a connection. And you know, the whole thing about coaching, for example, is I understand it's a relationship based business, and actually like being a fitness coach and wanting to help people in fitness, you know, it's like the realization that, you know, this consistency that I built in the gym, or like even posting on Instagram, for example, if I'm not actually building relationships with people and posting, like, you know, imagine you have like your best relationship with like your girlfriend, etc., or your mom, like you're not just saying almost, look at me, like this is my physique, you know, this is what I'm doing, you know what I mean, like to have a relationship, you know, you need to be vulnerable, you need to show your flaws, you need to show how you're thinking, you need to like, you know, have a symbiotic relationship, like you're giving things back, you know. And I feel like right now, like I just need to do a job of, you know, I think especially when I started, it was way more self-centered, but as I'm growing in business, like understanding service, you know what I mean, like wanting to actually contribute, you know what I mean, like I understand like I need to make a drastic change, and like one of the changes is going to be posting longer form YouTube content, not worrying about Mr. Beast edits, you know what I'm saying, not worried about, you know, I had this thing in my mind where I was posting YouTube consistently because I found this amazing videographer, and UCSB called Sejin, and then he graduated, and I thought, oh man, like, you know, like, I can't make content anymore because when I'm in the gym, you know, I can't make good enough edits now if I bring my camera, and then if I make these edits, then it's gonna mess up my workout, and I care about my workout. So for a long time now, I basically made like no content, even though like I've known in my mind I should, and I want to, but I thought it needed to be edited a certain way or something, you know what I mean? But that's actually selfish because I'm not giving and sharing and connecting in a way that I could be, because, you know, it's not packaged well enough or something, you know? Doesn't make any sense, right? When I say it out loud. But look, going forward, you know, like, understanding that like the influencer method of posting, you know what I'm saying, first of all, doesn't work for the objectives that you actually have. Like if my objectives is to actually, you know, make an impact, you know, have a more successful business, you know, connect with people who are on a similar journey, people ahead of me, people, you know, trying to level up to some, you know, whether that be fitness or physique, and they're not where I'm at right now and they want to learn. That all comes down to relationship building and providing value that is authentic to me and my story, and not just surface level, and not missing out on like posting long form YouTube videos that actually show how I think, you know. So that's something that, you know, I want to make now to kind of say where my head's at, and I want to be more conscious going forward of doing that, whether it be posting on stories, posting more YouTube videos, whether that be like vlogs or educational content. Because a long time actually in my mind, you know, I was not repulsed, but like, I don't want to be commoditized. I don't want to be like everyone else, because I have a unique story, obviously. You know, very unique story. You know, grew up in the UK, moved to UCSB, California for college for 3 years, now moved to Texas, you know what I'm saying, like to pursue bodybuilding and entrepreneurship, and no one that I grew up around is doing something like this. And so sometimes I felt like, you know, and rightfully so, like, what is the point of me pouring all my energy into saying, you know, eat healthy food over non-healthy food, you know, hit your macros, all this kind of thing. Like, this is so basic, you know what I mean, that I thought like I'm commoditizing myself by like just saying what you could look up on ChatGPT now. Information isn't the problem. What the problem is, people, they know what to do, but they don't know why they can't act the way they want to do. You know what I'm saying? So if I can share my story and integrate my story on top of the facts, as opposed to just saying facts. You know, the fact kind of content on Instagram, like I make talking head reels and I just like make them, and then I'll be like, this is useless, you know what I'm saying? This is not even providing value. I felt unfulfilled. But like adding my layer to it, you know, of more storytelling from my own personal life and being more vulnerable about like, yeah, like how I was thinking at certain points in time, you know, like expressing the why behind not just the facts, but, you know, the why and how I'm thinking and the storytelling of my particular situation. This is what's going to help the most people, be most productive for me, and feels right. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy that it's taken like 5 years for this realization to fully happen. But going forward, more YouTube long form content, you know what I'm saying? Not just short form. And then trying to be living proof of my, for example, fitness program, you know, like I'm living proof of it, but I don't document that enough and like show the result in a way, you know. Meditation, obviously meal plan, not missing a workout, doing the cardio when you don't want to, never missing, 8 hours sleep, all these things, you know. But like displaying more of that and showing the battles along the way, I think is the next step for me to progress in this journey and genuinely help people that this can resonate with do the same thing. So this is as much for me as it is for just documentation for anyone, you know, trying to see where the journey's at. Yeah, that's the plan going forward. So more consistent long form content and more storytelling. See you guys next video. Peace.